Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, hello.
How are you?
How are you? Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to meet you today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I'm glad you reached out, and I'm excited to yeah, to chat with you.
Yeah, I'm also excited to have conversation with you because I this is the first time for me to have conversation with musicians. It's so exciting.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's I'm your guy. I'm a musician, all right. A musician and content creator.
Yeah. My name is Suri. So how can I pronounce your name?
That would be Kevin.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, and I really appreciate your time. So, I'd like to give you a brief introduction about myself. So,
Sure.
yeah, I'm from South Korea, and I moved to New York City over a year ago to study interaction design at the School of Visual Art. So, this is my first time studying abroad, and English is my second language. So, I really appreciate your patience. And
Sure.
if if something I say is unclear, just feel free to ask me to explain further or rephrase something. To give you some background, I'm currently working on my thesis for which I'm creating a platform with the goal of fostering an environment
Okay.
where creators can truly feel connected to one another. So my goal is to create a community for creators to share their talents and their workflows with other creators. So as a former art director, when I was in Korea, I've been always passionate about empowering creative people to contribute their talents to benefit society. So before we officially start the interview, I was wondering if you might allow me to record our session. The recording would be only for if I missed any notes you said while talking. So, is it okay?
Sure, that'd be awesome. I would I would ask and I would be interested in knowing if I would be able to get a copy of the recording.
Okay, okay. It's totally fine for me.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
Then, recording in progress. Recording starts.
Cool. Hmm.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you, and let's get started.
Let's do it.
Yeah, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Of course, yeah. My name is Kevin Allen. My artist name is Khordmaster with a KH. I'm a musician. I play the piano, a music producer, music content creator. I have a YouTube channel where I do a lot of gear reviews, tutorials, interviews, not too far from what we're doing here with other creators in my space. So that's kind of what I do from a creative side. And then on the other side of the fence, I'm actually an entrepreneur for a business that I founded called Kevin's Mentor and Tutor Services, and it is a tutoring business, education based business, where we do math tutoring, English language arts, as well as piano lessons, both in person and virtually.
I see. So how long have you been working as a creator?
Yeah, so about 3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
About 3 years.
What do you enjoy the most about working as a creator?
Well, I think that would probably be sort of the same answer as what I enjoy about being an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur slash creator together for me. There's a few things. It's the I don't want to say freedom, but I guess we can say that the ability to kind of make our own schedules, right? To kind of say, all right, these are the things that are important for to move the needle, to move this business or move my channel forward. These are the things that I'm not being told what to do. These are the things that I believe need to be done in order to kind of help me achieve my goals. So I definitely like that. I know that I'm someone who's like I'm a hard worker, someone who kind of like I thrive in opportunities where it requires me to sort of push myself and kind of not overdo it, find the balance between working hard but also having that relaxation, and that sort of wellness mentally and physically. But I would say ultimately it's like having the freedom to do what it is that we want to do rather than what we're told that we need to do. Because I used to work in corporate. I used to be in my previous life. I have an engineering background, so I'm an electrical engineer, and I worked in corporate for about 12 years before leaving that to do something more fulfilling, which was becoming a middle school math teacher. And around that time is where things really kind of got more clear for me, just about how I wanted to spend each of my days. And now this is the norm. Having this life that has ups and downs, just like everyone else's, but a lot more ups than downs. Right, the downs are more so figuring things out and maybe sometimes being a little bit overwhelmed with. I would say it's probably my biggest challenge right now. Being overwhelmed sometimes with wanting to do so much. I have so many ideas, so many grand ideas, and I'm only one person. And so for me to kind of spend some time really thinking and being super thoughtful about where I want to put my attention to, and taking notes on these other ideas that I'm excited about, but maybe right now is not the season for them. Maybe that season is next year or in a few years, but at least I still have them written down where it's like, okay, I'm going to revisit this, when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, that's so cool, and you're so brave to shift your career to creators.
Mm.
So, actually, have you ever collaborated with other creators?
All the time. Yeah, yeah, all the time. I would say one of the things that I really, really enjoy doing is connecting with people. And so, I've met a lot of people that are in similar spaces to me, partly because of one of the things that I do is I have a show called Khordmaster Keys that I alluded to earlier, where I interview virtually and in some cases in person different people that are in the creative space or entrepreneurial space. So I've met a lot of people through that just from networking online. But even in addition to that, before I even started having people kind of on my platform, just coming across people's content that I find inspiring. And Instagram mostly is the place where I discover people. I know there's a lot of different social platforms, but most of the time for me it's on Instagram. And just connect with them, right? And try to be intentional about the relationships too. I think that I see a scenario in the near future where one of my creative friends posted, like, I think he was somewhere in Colorado or somewhere in the West Coast at like a really nice looking cabin, right? Like a big cabin type place, like in the woods somewhere in the cold. I'm not exactly sure, what the context was, but he posted it. He was there, and I'm like, wow, like, and I actually messaged him. I was like, that would be really, really cool to get me and you and a few of our other like artistic creative friends, like for a weekend together, something like that, to get together and just be creative. From having this relationship online for so many years and now being able to like make something tangible with it potentially and just have fun. So that's something that's on my mind. Like it's one thing to have the relationships we do virtually, but I'm trying to enhance that in certain instances, right? You can't have that type of relationship with everyone, but for people who you really click with, of which there's quite a few that I've met over the years, getting their phone number rather than just DMing them, right? And being able to have phone calls that are not recorded, aren't for content, but just for us connecting with each other like humans. These are things that I'm excited to continue fostering, this year and beyond.
So you search for people through Instagram or YouTube, and then like having conversation and then make video. That's you define collaboration.
Yeah, I would say that would be like sort of when I think about collaborating, that's kind of how I've done it up to this point. When it comes to music collaboration specifically, that's something that I haven't done that much of yet. Although, or even like my music that I produced and stuff, to have someone sing over a song or have someone rap or do something like that, or create some artwork that has to do with it. Like these are ideas that I definitely have had. And as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, okay, these social platforms do make it, I think, in some ways, incredibly easy, in some ways, incredibly hard. But the easy way is like, okay, they have these remix features. So what's to say I can't go ahead and I've actually done this a little bit, but I haven't really stayed consistent with it. But Khordmaster being my name, like I have, as you can see over here, right, like many keyboards, but this is like my
Yeah.
current, like my goat. Like I love this keyboard over here. It's called the Nord Piano 5, and so I really love playing chords. So I can like post some chord progressions and just a nice vibe, and someone maybe enjoys it and they can sing over it and they can remix my, so that's like a collaboration opportunity that I'm not even direct or I'm more so indirectly involved with. Like someone finds me and like, oh, I want to sing over this, I want to sing or cover this song that he's playing the chords to. So these are ideas that I've had, but I haven't really like done it yet. I haven't really sat down and said, oh, is this something that I want to focus on for the first, like for this season, or is it kind of over here? And to be honest with you, right now, a major focus for me is, I mentioned my tutoring business. So I've realized that there's been some challenge of where to focus between these two things, between the music content creation slash YouTube channel, which is my main platform where I post most content, and then my tutoring business, right? And so I'm kind of like thinking about a plan of saying that, okay, I'm balancing my time on both of these. So maybe I might not be able to excel on either of them if I'm doing both, on a daily basis. So I'm kind of like giving myself some time and a little bit of grace and saying, all right, well, let me like designate specific time to KMATs, to my tutoring business. And I'm doing that now, right? I'm saying like Mondays and Tuesdays, 9 to 1. I'm not doing any music. I'm not doing any creative, any of that type of stuff. I'm just like, how do I grow my business? What are creative fun? And I have a business partner and another person on the team, but the other person is a full-time teacher. So my business partner, we're working, we're ideating, we're coming up with things. And so that's been like a kind of significant focus. Actually this current week is the first week that we're like kind of focused on that sort of new way of going about our weeks.
I see. Then, how do you find the right collaborators? I mean, how do you identify and feel, oh, if this person is right person? What is the signal?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
when you choose collaborator.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's kind of a feel thing. How do you feel when you interact with someone? I think online for me, and in person, I think I have a pretty good grasp on, like, if you were to pick any one of the people that I've had regular or recurring DM conversations with, that are in a similar space to me or something that I kind of talk to regularly, that I know this person, they know me, and you ask me like, what do you think about this person? Like, like if you ask me some serious questions without even meeting them, like I have a pretty good gauge on most people just based on, I mean, I think I do. Do I? I don't know, but I think I do have a pretty good gauge on most people based on how I feel from the interaction. Now, sometimes that could, people can be fake and stuff and make you feel one way, but really, and that's obviously that can be the case. But usually, it's like if there's like a good vibe, then I'm good with it. Then that's enough of a reason for me to explore the opportunity at least.
I see. Then have you, like, you contact them first and have conversation and you trust your gut feeling this will be right person, something like that.
Yeah, well, I haven't, when we talk about the collaboration, the only element that I've actually done up to this point are the Khordmaster Keys interviews. And so most of my interviews have been really, really, really good. I've enjoyed them. The guests definitely enjoyed them. Maybe there's been a handful. I'm thinking of one. I mean, I'm not going to say which one it was, but I'm thinking of one interview where I was like, okay, I could have done without this, and it was like, I don't know. I didn't leave it feeling like good. I was like, oh, it was, it was okay kind of thing. And so you're not gonna be batting 1,000 and getting that right every single time, of course. But you live and learn, right?
Mm, I see. I will be appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your experience in how to build a connection between creators on A Club, Patreon A Club.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a bit. So Patreon is a platform that I think is amazing. I think it's something that it's empowering creators to really do what they want to do, which is they want to work freely on their art, and they want to do that without being, uh, I guess, affected adversely by other things that they need to do in order to make money, right? They want to be supported by people who are really, really in love with the stuff that they do. And so Patreon allows people to do that, right? By setting up these monthly plans, monthly memberships, and setting their own price and saying, hey, this is what I'm offering for this price, right? So in my case, my Patreon, and then I'll talk a little bit about the A Club. My Patreon, Khordmaster is my name. I have a lot of chord-based knowledge and information in my head that I know a lot of music producers will benefit from. Like a lot of producers out there they pay money for chord packs, right? And then they make their song from that. They don't really have the ability to play it themselves. That's something I didn't know for a while until semi-recently when I researched it. I'm like, wait a second. This is a space that is untapped, I think. I mean, there's people doing stuff, I think maybe teaching and stuff, but my thing is like creating this weekly hour-long Zoom session every Sunday night at 8 p.m. We have people that join and I teach them chord progressions to songs and we have an amazing time and it's a lot of fun and it's something I look forward to every week. And I'm pretty sure many of them, if not all of them, do as well. So that's a place where I want to continue cultivating that relationship with my patrons and continue slowly growing it in a strategic way such that people that are in it are always feeling like they're getting more value from it than what they're paying. That's important to me. So they have this thing called goals, which allow you to set up and broadcast, like actually have it on your page to say, hey, when I reach this number of patrons, or hey, when I reach this number, a dollar amount per month, I'm going to do this. So in my case, I have Sundays only. The first goal that I have is, I forget the exact dollar amount, but when I reach that goal, that's going to mean we have more patrons. That's going to mean the sessions have more people in it. That's going to mean that maybe there's a little less, right, opportunity to ask questions. So now let's have a second session. Let's have a midweek session as well. I'll be doing it 2 times a week, Sundays and Wednesdays, for example, right? And so that's something I'm thinking of. Like, I know I'll get there for sure. I'll get to that point on that goal. And the value add for everyone else is now they can join both, or if they can't do Sunday, hey, we're doing Wednesday as well. And so I'm very excited about it. As you probably can see, I'm very excited about that platform and what it's going to mean for me as a content creator moving forward. Now, A Club is an opportunity for select people. I don't know how they found the individuals, but they reached out to me and asked if I was interested in creating an A Club based on a type of creator that I would want to have get together into a group and who all have Patreon and talk about things, right? And so mine is music marketing and branding. We meet every week, or we used to meet every week. Now it's bi-weekly on Thursdays. And I meet with other creators that are in similar spaces as me, people that are on Instagram, that are on YouTube, on Patreon, performing out and about, producers, like all those types of people join. And we talk about things that we struggle with. And we talk about victories or wins that we've had recently, because quite frankly, like those wins are not things that that's always a good idea to share with other people who don't get it, right? You share something exciting to you that happened. Like me, I had an exciting thing today. I reached out, I got emails from 2 different entities. One is a person I really wanted to have on my show, and she's, in her words, would be honored to be a guest. So she's going to be a guest on my show, and I'm extremely excited about that. The other one is from a brand for this device that it's a microphone, and I've watched them for a while, and I'm like, I would love to have one of these. I would love to do a review of one of these. It looks so cool. It looks like it'll work so well with other things that I have. sent them an email on their website. They got back to me immediately and said, we'd be honored if you do a video. We're gonna send you one, what color you want, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that made me feel so great. If I share that with someone who's not in the same space as I'm in, they're not gonna match the excitement level because they don't get it. They're happy for me as a friend or family, but they don't understand what that exactly means, right? These A Club members, do they get it? Absolutely. They know the feeling because they felt it themselves before. So it's like a good space for us to learn, for us to share best practices, and I'm very excited about Patreon and about I'm excited about what they stand for and what it means for me as a creator. And there's other things that are in the works with Patreon in terms of like expanding their platform and their features that are on their actual Patreon page that's just going to make it even better, including the ability to share native video right on the page. It doesn't have to be like a separate link, which I think is pretty neat.
Were you a captain on?
Yeah.
Then how do you organize your club and how do you run your club in general? Time management or resource management?
Yeah, so I keep it pretty light, I communicate with people via email. We have a Discord channel to communicate in between weeks, but for important things, major things, it goes out via email. I give them an opportunity to share topics that they may want to talk about, and I have a list of those topics so we can bring those up sort of, throughout the meetings. And yeah, I mean, I have the reason this opportunity really resonated with me and I thought was just going to be really, really good for, or I should say, the reason I thought that I would be a great fit for it is because I have a lot of extensive experience running meetings, project management, systems integration, engineering, different jobs that I've had in the past at Verizon have given me the ability to communicate in a way that is stellar. I'm an amazing communicator. I mean, I'm not ashamed or shy to say that. I am. And so the fact is that like I have that experience and I've kind of worked on that over time, but not just the communication, but also the way of making people feel heard and feel good and like people like it's a really, really good fit for me and for what I'm doing. So I'm like thrilled for the opportunity to be a captain. It's something too it's not a paid thing, right? So I'm not getting paid from Patreon nor from the other members of the club. It's more like I'm getting value, I'm getting experience, and I know that the relationship that I'm kind of building with the people that work at Patreon who are involved in meetings and in emails and stuff. I know that they are now getting a good sense of who I am. And I fully expect, I mean, today is February 1st. I fully expect that at some point in the near future, like the stuff that I'm doing here is going to result in something that's going to be super beneficial for me on Patreon, for my own personal Patreon that I mentioned earlier, and beyond. So, speaking engagements, coaching, ways to kind of learn more about the platform, stuff like that I'm super curious about, just soaking it all up so that I can be as successful as I would like to be on the platform.
Then can you tell me about any limitations or problems you face when joining the club?
Yeah, I would say that like it would be nice to be able to interact with people. It would be nice so I mentioned my own Patreon page that I have. Now, it would be nice for my A Club to have a Patreon page as well, even if people aren't paying, but it's like a modified version of it, right? That way I can post things on there. That way I can communicate with people on there. Right now we have to communicate via email or Discord, which are, separate places that they have to go. Email everyone has, so it's fine, but it would be nice to have that ability on there. That's one thing. And then I think that there could be some additional benefits for the A Club captains. In my opinion, I think that the captains should, I don't know if it should be paid. I'm not as interested in getting paid some amount of money per week or some stipend. That's cool, but I'm more interested in like A club captains have the ability to, have some way to enhance their own personal Patreons to broadcast it differently or something like that. That's what's important to me, and I think it's kind of happening organically, like these opportunities to kind of learn more from official people in Patreon. I think it's kind of starting to present itself right now. But if it was like guaranteed and it was like something that was like included, like, hey, this is one of the other perks that you're getting, I think that's something that would entice me to maybe even stay on longer. And for people who are teetering, they might lean towards becoming a captain because of those added benefits.
I see. Then you mentioned that you use a lot of platforms like YouTube, Discord, Patreon, Instagram, something like that. So can you tell me about any limitations or problems when networking with other creators on these kinds of platforms like Discord, Instagram, YouTube?
Yeah. I've been thinking a little bit lately. There's so many platforms, and there's times where I've only been on, like, I was like, okay, let me delete these other ones and let me just focus on YouTube only, for example. Where I like deleted the other ones, kept my account, but just wasn't active on there, just because, like, there's times where, like, you're on Instagram for a while and then you're like, okay, no more updates. Okay, boom, let me go to Twitter now. Let me look on here for a little bit. Okay, boom, let me go to YouTube. Let me go there. It's like 7 different platforms. And then when you get to the last one, you're like, oh, let me go back over here. There, in the 20 minutes that elapsed, maybe there's something new over here for me to check. And it's like this vicious cycle. I kind of hate that. I think that it can be it's very disturbing, actually, because it happens to a lot of people, including myself. I'm not exempt from that. But in terms of like things that could be better, I'll just, I guess, there's a lot of things I think that can be better on the breadth of platforms that are out there. But I'll name 2 that are sort of new to me, right? Not new, but things that are at the top of my mind. One of them has to do with live streaming. So you can live stream on Twitch. As a musician, you can live stream on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok if you have enough subscribers. LinkedIn, I think, has live stream. So you can live stream so many different places, right? My home base being YouTube, I would love to be able to like have a YouTube live stream weekly or 2 times a week session for like 2 hours or an hour of me playing and chilling and talking on the microphone and singing and interacting with the audience. I would love that. Right now, YouTube's live stream kind of is terrible. It's not as discoverable when I'm on a live stream as I believe it should be. Now, part of that is like, well, Kev, is your content good enough for it to be pushed to the right people? Maybe make your content better or your live stream better, and maybe it will be pushed. But then the other part of it is like, hey, I've been on the platform for three years now. I have like close to 7,000 subscribers. And so I'm pretty sure that some of those subscribers would be interested in at least checking out my live stream. Along with that, I'm pretty sure that some people that are currently at this moment that I'm live streaming, I'm not right now, but like when I'm actually live streaming, I'm sure that people who happen to be watching one of my videos in real time at that moment would, if they knew I was live streaming, they would probably be interested in at least checking me out, I think. And so for me, YouTube has to have that feature. And I thought they came out with it before. And by that feature, I mean, if you're watching one of my videos and I'm live at that moment, you should know clearly that, oh, the person whose video you're watching is live streaming now. Do you want to check it out? And to me, that's critical for the success of YouTube's live platform, in my opinion. Because that would just bring in more traffic. It would make me feel like, oh, I want to make more videos now so that more people can possibly know about my live stream, and then it'll make me want to live stream more because now there's more chance for people to check me out when I'm live. Right now, it's not that way at all. So it's kind of like not the best. And then another phase with live streaming on Instagram. So Instagram has a live streaming platform, and that also, I mean, I had a great time going live yesterday right on this keyboard. I went ahead and I just threw up a live, and I just had fun. People hopped in. My wife, requested to join, so I was like video chatting with her, for our friends to see and family and stuff. So it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to maybe doing it after this for a few minutes or something, just to kind of keep that momentum a little bit. But I think that Instagram Live would be so much better if it pulled from what Reddit Live used to do and what TikTok currently does for live, which is if you're watching my Instagram, there's two things actually that I think it needs to do. One, it needs to be able to allow people to minimize the live stream within the Instagram app so you can continue on Instagram while still in the live feed. That is like a no brainer because the moment a millisecond gets boring in a live stream, a millisecond, the person is out. They're gonna go on Instagram because Instagram is more entertaining. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can, it's like a lot more interesting, right? So if they were kind of interested in what they're seeing, but they wanted to go back to Instagram, they can't do both together. You have to get a separate device or something, right? But you should be able to just be like minimize, boom, small little box there, still listening to the live stream, still seeing it a little bit, but I'm also looking at what else is on Instagram. That I think needs to happen. If I had a crystal ball and I'm looking in the future, like yeah, that's gonna happen at some point, in my opinion. The second thing is discoverability on Instagram Live. You're only gonna be discovered by people who follow you. Why can't if you're in my live stream on Instagram, why can't you just swipe and then come to this wonderful world of everyone? And maybe you have to opt into this. Maybe you don't want this, but I would definitely be interested in like this world of who's live on Instagram right now. All I know is the people who I follow, the 400 people I follow, which is like no one's ever really live, so I don't even see any lives on there. But like, it would be cool to be able to swipe and then get a random person who you don't follow who happens to be live at that moment, because that means that I'm discovering maybe it's and maybe it's like the lives like is music live. Like as I'm thinking about this, I'm like hell yeah, like of course they have to do this. Why can't there be sections of live streaming? Like who's doing live music right now on Instagram? Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Like why isn't there that right now? I'm actually getting upset thinking about it.
Yeah. Actually, thank you so much for sharing your content creation itself. But I want to know additionally, like networking with this platform, like using this platform for networking. How do you think about the limitations, like this networking using Discord, YouTube, Instagram?
For the limitations for networking using those platforms.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about limitations with them because I haven't really had that many limitations with networking on the platforms that I've used. I mean, the explore page, there's so many ways to discover, and the platforms that I use on Instagram, for example, the explore page, like you could see the explore page and just find stuff on there. I don't spend that much time on there personally, but now that I'm starting to get back into interviewing people and identifying guests, now I'm starting to spend a little bit more time on there. But I think that works pretty well, in my opinion.
Then what would your ideal networking platform look like? Like matching proper person or some kinds of
Ideal networking platform. Like what will be a perfect one? Well, let me think. That's like I have to charge you to tell you that answer. I got it's not consult. This ain't no consulting call. I gotta charge you. No, I don't. I'd have to think. I'd have to honestly think about that because I think a lot of platforms like Instagram has it close. In my opinion, they're close. I think Instagram could benefit from having more features in it to allow people to cater the app to exactly what they want it to be. For example, maybe I want it chronological by default. Maybe I just want to see the people I'm following and just in order, like that type of thing. For example, yeah, no, I'm not. I have to think about that. Yeah, it's more of a loaded question. I think that I don't know if I have an exact answer for you right now.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Actually, time over. But can you give me like 5 minutes more?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But I've been really curious about this. So, what do you think is the hardest thing about living as an artist, living as a creator?
Yeah. I think the hardest thing about living as a creator is the fact that if you're not careful, you can reach this burnout state very easily. Um,
Oh.
when you're a creator or when you're an entrepreneur, if you're
Mm,
not intentional about making sure that you have your times where you're working or when you're creating and you have the times when you're not. The times when you're not, you should be doing something else, like getting a massage or spending time with your family or watching TV or playing a video game, doing something that's not like having to be on like work and like doing that type of thing, you know. And
mm,
that's the biggest thing. I mean, there's, like I said before, there's ups and downs. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen people be creators in the time that I've been, and I don't even know where they're at now. I think they just left. It's too much or whatever. I don't know their circumstance, of course. But yeah, just being intentional with your time, and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. Because if you're not, then that's no bueno.
I see. Is there anything I missed that I didn't cover that I think, this is important for us as a creator, but is there anything I missed?
Let me think. Uh, I think that we live in a unprecedented time right now where, like, my business, my tutoring business, I can't even assume that a kid is planning on going to college like was the case, years ago, where it's like, of course you're going to college. Now it's like there's so many opportunities. Being a creator, specifically on YouTube, like you look at that platform and you ask yourself, like, YouTube is a great platform to be a creator on. A lot of a lot of other platforms I think are making strides. But when you look at like how to be successful, how to make money, how to create a brand, all that stuff, like you need to have a YouTube channel. You can't not have a YouTube channel, in my opinion. The other platforms you can be there or you don't have to be. If you hire someone to manage your TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but you need to be on YouTube because it is it's just it really works very well for the creator, and then you have your one or two other spaces outside of there that you're secondary and tertiary, however it's pronounced. Ones to kind of use as well.
I see. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank, yeah, you have many insights, and I am really grateful for that.
Well, I'm happy.
Uh,
I'm happy to be able to talk to you about this stuff because this is stuff that I've been living for so long. So I can talk it. I understand it pretty well, I think. And I'm looking forward to maybe you keep in touch and let me know what you end up doing with this. So I'd be
Thank you.
happy to see that.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time today. So, I'll send you the gift cards. So please let me know your Amazon account so that I can send you the card.
Awesome. That's very sweet of you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And if are there any other creators you participate in A Club that might recommend I can talk to?
Yeah. I mean, what specific for A Club? Specifically for,
Uh,
or just any creator, or you're looking specific for A Club?
A Club will be fine, but I'm looking for a creator who have collaboration experience with
Collaboration
the other
experience.
creators.
Yeah, let's take that via email. I can definitely think of, I mean, I know a lot of people. It's a matter of whether or not they have the time or be interested in having the conversation. But I know people who have experience and would be able to, I shouldn't say would be able to, who would be, if they were okay with doing it, who would be great to be able to talk to. So we can definitely have that conversation offline.
Okay, thank you so much. I last one question.
Sure.
Sorry. Uh, do are you willing to collaborate with creators outside your expertise, like illustrators or like drawing artists,
Oh,
something like that?
that's a good question. Not only am I willing to, I think those are the types of creators I probably prefer collaborating with. the ones who are other creators, yes, absolutely. I think it's just a great idea. Yeah.
But you never experienced yet.
I mean, I've interviewed people outside of the music space on my show, if that counts. So as I mentioned earlier, I consider that a collaboration. So I've definitely done that. Um, and yeah, so I technically have, yeah, for sure.
I see, I see. Thank you so much for having conversation with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and
Yeah.
we'll definitely be talking. Okay.
Okay, okay. Please send me the Amazon account and please recommend me some referral your acquaintances.
Sounds good. We'll do.
Okay, thank you so much today.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
And that is how you do it.
Man, so I literally had